One city.
7 voices.
9 weeks.
Well, Bob's like a counselor in the neighborhood.
Baltimore is evolving.
This is like what I've always dreamed of, is like bringing people together.
That's what I love about Baltimore.
Baltimore, Maryland, USA. Known as the city that reads.
A tapestry of colorful stories that are woven through distinct neighborhoods.
Baltimore has enabled me to be who I am.
When I moved to Baltimore, though, it inspired me.
Each offers a rich history and diverse culture that is uniquely their own.
Give back to the community I grew up in.
You know, like they say, Black Lives Matter, Gay Lives Matter.
Take a journey through these neighborhoods to see,
hear,
and experience what it is they mean when they say,
"This is my Baltimore."
My name is Geneva Monet Williams, a community activist, I would say plant lover, top recycler and cleaner, and just all-around community person. Baltimore is where I was born and raised. The city of Baltimore has so much potential, so many beautiful people, so much art. I love it, you know? When I was a child, I was always into the arts. I love doing art, I love creating pottery, I love creating mixed media and 3-dimensional art. I was in so many different art programs that a young lady from our community, she actually came, her name is Miss Julie, and she still actually works in the community. She came to Hamilton Elementary School and she came to our art club where a lot of artists were, and she said, hey, would you guys like to make some signs up for the community? And they actually voted for my sign. My big initiative, and it's been this way for a couple of years at this point, is recycling. I'm big on reusing. I'm big on planting and living off of your land and making as minimal of a carbon footprint as possible. Because we are a major metropolis, we're already battling the chemicals coming from different cars and tar and buildings and vehicles. So I feel like we have to combat that with our home health as well as to keep a better earth for our children, our children's children. Baltimore is evolving. It's beautiful. I would say that it is, I don't know how to say a lot of potential. It has potential, very colorful and very hopeful. I personally do not think Baltimore is dangerous. I don't think it's ugly. I don't think it's failing. I don't think that it is subpar, and I don't think that it is worthless. I just don't. It doesn't always take loads of money or loads of fame to get things done. You literally can get things done as long as you have the willpower and the love to do it within. Hi, I am Geneva Williams, and this is My Baltimore.
Well, I just like cutting hair. I started off cutting hair. My mom, you know, back in the day, she didn't want to, you know, take me to the barber shop all the time. I had a high top. My kid didn't play joint. She was like, well, you can just do it yourself. I'm gonna get you some clippers. So I said, all right, I'll try, you know what I'm saying? So she bought me a pair of clippers and was like, here you go. I can't keep taking you to the barber shop all the time. So I said, all right, cool. So I started, you know, doing my flat top. People noticed it in school. Then I had the Big Daddy Kane parts and the parts of my eyebrows. So I said 8th grade is when I really started cutting other people's hair. When I first got here, you know, people were saying "two" and "Doug." You know, it just used to make me laugh a lot. You know what I'm saying? I know I say some wild words as well. You know, but Bob's like a counselor in the neighborhood. You know, you come to your barber, man. I got this is going on. Well, look, let me talk to you. This is what I know. Let me put you on to this person because I got a lot of clients. You know, let me put you on to this person. So it's like the black counselor in the Baltimore area. A lot of my clients, they into music. So they could just go in the back, record, mix down, master. We can shoot videos in here, just all in one place. So I don't have to cut hair. I'm gonna have to leave for a minute, come back, leave for a minute, come back. I can just come just one place every day. I don't have to worry about running back and forth. One of the engineers here, his name is Reason. I've been cutting his hair for maybe like 5 or 6 years. He was into music, but he wasn't really into music like that. So by me cutting his hair, talking to him, telling him about the business side of it, telling him about, you know, how you can get royalties and how you can, you know, get streams, he got into it more. Now, this is before he was an engineer, he just an artist. So got him coming into the studio, engineering, show him how to do certain things, and from there on, he's just been rolling. He's like one of our main engineers here. Then he completes so many projects, quality Southern projects, it just like blows my mind sometimes. I guess the people, they don't stop, they keep going, they keep pushing, no matter the situation they're in. And just, the area, like the downtown scene, it's just a little bit different from PG County and Southeast and Northwest that I've grown to like and love. Hey, this is King Cudi, and this is my Baltimore.
I've been DJing for the past 10 years, and I've been a farrier for the past 22 years. I was born in Texas and moved to Oklahoma when I was 4. When I first moved to Baltimore, I felt a little bit like a fish out of water. Eventually, by junior high, I found a group of friends that I felt comfortable with through, mostly through the arts, through music and dance. My mom had an 8-track player. That didn't really go over so well with trying to DJ. So my friend had one single turntable that we used to practice scratching on with the paper plate underneath, but we only had the one turntable, so that couldn't really DJ. My last name is Fell, and I didn't even realize the significance of my name until I went to a Quaker college. And one of the gentlemen there, he came up to me and said, "Hey, are you related to Margaret Fell?" And I said, "I don't know, I might be." I didn't know who she was, and I didn't even know my family were Quakers until I went to a Quaker college. Margaret Fell was very important in Quakerism because she's considered the mother of Quakerism, which is basically the belief is that anyone can have contact with God. You don't need to go through a religious authority. You don't necessarily need to read any specific religious text, although it is a Christian-based religion. Pretty much immediately after the Freddie Gray incident and trial of the police officers, I had attended a march for Freddie Gray, and I had this pull. It's like, I felt this unity with the city, and I felt like, what do I have that I can offer to the city to help bring people together? My heart pulled me to go DJ, and I was like, well, where am I gonna go? So somebody told me that there were gonna be some dancers at Graffiti Alley. So I took my little mobile unit and went over to Graffiti Alley, and I just started playing music, and people started showing up and just kind of hanging out, and some people were doing graffiti and some people were dancing. I was like, this is like what I've always dreamed of, is like bringing people together from all backgrounds, music, the arts, dance, without any necessary education or background. Just show up as you are, do your thing, and let your passion kind of happen. My name is Jonathan Fell, and this is my Baltimore.
I'm a single black gay father of 5 children. No qualms. JOY stands for Just Our Youth. And the reason why I chose JOY is because you want people to be happy. So that's where the joy comes in. And you can take joy anywhere you go. If I wanted to bring it to another part of Maryland, I could say JOY Hagerstown. JOY Prince George County. So joy goes a long way. The reason why I created JOY Baltimore is because I wanted to focus on the LGBTQ community, the young youth within that community that was being left out of other services around the city. And they didn't feel that they were welcome because they didn't know how people would accept them or how people would deal or work with them. So I said, okay, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna start JOY Baltimore. We're gonna service all youth, but we're gonna focus on our LGBTQ youth. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna welcome our LGBTQ youth in, but we're gonna teach them how to be accepting to heterosexual youth and heterosexual people that come into their spaces. Let's educate them on our lifestyle because they may not know. So I have a young man named Keon. Keon was just this rambunctious little young guy, sneaking out of his mama's windows to go have fun. What kind of fun was he having? We all can only imagine. But he came into my program 3 years ago, and he did a full turnaround. You wanna know why? Because we nosy as all hell. Because we care. It's not being nosy because I need to be in your business. I'm being nosy because I care about your life. You know, like they say, Black lives matter, gay lives matter. And, you know, we did a full turnaround with Keon. Keon works 2 jobs now. Keon is a high school graduate. Keon is getting ready to go to Bowie State University. Keon is excited about the school that he's going to, and he lives his life as a Black gay man. You know, I'm learning the rich history of Baltimore, and no way to get it but from the people that lived it. Baltimore is more. It is more than Harbor East. It is more than the Inner Harbor. The history of Baltimore is amazing. Once you find out the real history of Baltimore, you are going to want to stay. You're going to want to come back. You're going to want to have your children here. You're going to want to have your husband here, your boyfriend, your lover, your girlfriend, your wife. You're going to want to raise your kids. My name is Lonnie W. Walker, and this is my Baltimore.
Some churches get real clever with their signage and cute. I'm not a cute person. I don't care for that sort of thing, so I stay away from it, if at all possible. It's inspired by current events, whatever's going on in the world or in the community around us, and I look for something that will tie in with that particularly. I have a lot of sources for that. Also, I have access to some 12-step recovery books, which give little slogans at the bottom of like a daily reflection. And they're really good. They're really good for things along that line. The sign has meant a lot because it provides us that little bit of inspiration, that little bit of hope when things were not looking so good in Baltimore. When there's the whole Freddie Gray incident and what transpired following that. Thank God we've gotten past that, but I do believe that, you know, we still need hope. We still need that word of encouragement. And if that sign and what's posted on it can give that sort of hope and encouragement to other people, right on. You know, let's do it. I like the diversity of Baltimore City. I grew up in a fairly small town, and Baltimore has enabled me to be who I am, with no questions asked. I feel very loyal and very dedicated to the city of Baltimore. I am Stephen Kohler, and this is my Baltimore.
I think sometimes I'm racially ambiguous and people want to get further into, but where are you from? So my mother is Nicaraguan American, and my father is European American. And they met in Nicaragua after the Civil War. My father went over to help with rebuild infrastructure and met my mother, and they started to have a family, and I lived there as a baby. And then eventually we settled in Miami. And I have been in Baltimore for just over 3 years now. I think Baltimore has certainly inspired me to paint, because before then, I went to school for accounting. I worked for Big Four. I worked in downtown Miami, and it was supposed to be like, you know, the dream job, like the job everybody wants after school. And I started having children, and I realized very quickly, like working 80 hours a week and not seeing my 8-month-old, like it was tough, and I started to rethink real quick about my career choice. When I moved to Baltimore, though, it inspired me to really make that decision. My husband's very supportive, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna pursue this passion, and I'm gonna do it with my children. Yeah. My experience at Artscape, there was one interaction which I felt was powerful, and it was a woman who saw my painting of 3 quetzals, which are indigenous birds to Central America, and they were also sacred to, you know, the Mayans and Aztecs. And she told me that she was adopted, and that her roots are from Guatemala, and she had spent a year and had just gotten back. So being able to see the birds, you know, those elements, and then also blending it with Baltimore, like it felt really special to her and her journey and finding her roots. So that was probably the most special interaction at Artscape, though there were so many, and like cross-cultural. A lot of people appreciated my art, whether it's like, oh, you know, I appreciate the diversity in the city, and, you know, I support immigrants, to, hey, you know, these are images of my home, and feeling that nostalgia. And then also, like, you know, I really love Baltimore, and this is my home too. The people look out for each other. We live so close to each other. We see each other, you know, if we're just sitting out here on our stoops, and, you know, it's just walking by saying hi to your neighbor, and our kids growing up together. So that's what I love about Baltimore. Mi nombre es Jessica, and this is my Baltimore.
You know, I was raised on cartoons like Optimus Prime and Captain America. You know, you always want to help people and do the right thing. So when you look at, you know, where can I make the most impact? What I want to do is I want to work with young people. I want to make a difference, so to speak. Well, there's the most difference to be made in the city. I think that's one of the biggest problems with a lot of young people in Baltimore is they really are ingrained with the idea that this is all there is for them, that they're never able to escape the block that they were born in, and any identity they can slice themselves up into, there's a negative message for them attached to that identity. And I think, you know, that's not true. No matter where you came from, it might be harder for you to get started, you know, but you can absolutely do it, and the only one that can stop you is you.
And I didn't really have a lot of positive role models in my life when I was coming up, so it was a good idea to me for me to go back around there and get back to the community I grew up in, because I know how the struggle was for me. I was so into music and I just couldn't leave it alone, and my wife came up with this idea of helping the youth through it, using it as an outlet for the youth. So I was like, that's a great idea. So we started volunteering at Walter P. When they had the rec down there, and been going ever since.
A positive outlet for the children. Therapeutically, anything that they're going through, I want them to be able to, if they're into it, I want them to be able to let it off in the mic, on the paper, write about it, rap about it, talk about it, and just be there for them. One of my students, her mom was battling cancer, and my mom, she passed away from cancer. So me and her, we teamed together, and we made a song about our moms. And it was really touching. She said she let her mom hear. Her mom was crying, and you know, it was really great.
You know, a lot of these kids there's a lot of cracks for them to fall through. So I think if you just want to work with kids and just get a paycheck, you know, you can do that anywhere. But if you really are trying to say, who needs me the most, I'm assuming you have the confidence in yourself that you're good at it, and you say, well, who needs me the most? The city is very much in need of people that care about children.
I just want to be able to tell them, like, look, you can learn from me, or you can go down the same road. But I just hope that they learn from me.
I'm Joshua Fissel.
I'm Steve.
And I'm Savannah.
And this is My Baltimore.